Did you know that Alcatraz was the only federal prison that provided hot showers? Not exactly a spa retreat, but it's something. Alcatraz, the infamous island prison, was known for its brutal conditions, but one thing it had going for it was hot showers. No, it wasn't because the prison wardens were soft-hearted and felt like giving the inmates a bit of a treat. The hot shower policy was a crafty ploy, a strategic move designed to deter the inmates from acclimating to the frigid San Francisco Bay waters, and thereby crush any dreams of swimming to freedom. Now, I can almost hear the collective gasp of disappointment. You might be thinking, hot showers? That sounds like prison luxury. Well, hold on to your soap on a rope, because reality is far from it. These hot showers were not about pampering the inmates. They were about making the already daunting swim to freedom an impossible one. The logic was simple. Keep the prisoners used to hot water, and the icy cold bay waters would feel like a death sentence. So, picture this. You're an inmate at Alcatraz. You've heard rumors about the hot showers and you're thinking, hey, this might not be so bad. But then, you step into the shower and it hits you. The hot shower isn't a luxury, it's a strategy. Your dreams of swimming to freedom are washed away, quite literally, down the drain. Imagine the disappointment when you realize the hot showers aren't because of prison luxury, but to keep you on island lockdown. Talk about getting your hopes up. It's like you thinking you've won the lottery, only to find out you've just won a lifetime supply of toothpicks. But hey, on the bright side, at least you're clean, right? And they say cleanliness is next to godliness, which is probably as close to heaven as you'd get on Alcatraz. So, if you're planning a swim from Alcatraz, you might want to reconsider, unless you're a fan of ice baths. Ever heard of the Birdman of Alcatraz? No, it's not a superhero story, but rather a tale of a man and his love for, well, birds. Yes, we're talking about Robert Stroud, who, despite the nickname, was actually not allowed to keep birds in Alcatraz. Now, isn't that a bit of a plot twist? Stroud was moved to Alcatraz from another prison where he was allowed to keep birds. Talk about a downgrade, right? From bird keeping to absolutely no feathery companions. That's harsh. Picture this. Stroud, a man with a fondness for our feathered friends, was initially incarcerated at Leavenworth Penitentiary. There, he managed to transform his cell into a makeshift aviary, housing as many as 300 birds. Talk about a man who took the phrase tweeting in prison to a whole new level. His interest wasn't just a hobby though. Stroud wrote 2 books on canaries and their diseases, becoming quite the bird expert while behind bars. And you thought your quarantine sourdough baking phase was productive. But alas, when Stroud was transferred to Alcatraz in the early 1940s, his bird-loving days came to an abrupt halt. The prison officials were like, sorry, Bob, no birds here. Maybe try stamp collecting? Alcatraz wasn't just a prison. It was also home to the families of the prison staff. Now, that's a unique neighborhood. When you think about Alcatraz, you probably picture hardened criminals, daunting cell blocks, and a whole lot of seagulls. But what you might not picture is a quaint little community with picket fences, a school, and children playing catch in the yard. Yes, you heard it right. Alcatraz was not just a home for the infamous, but also for the innocent. The families of the prison staff lived right there on the island. And we're not talking about a few dozen people. We're talking about a full-fledged community of around 300 souls. It was like a small town with its own post office, a bowling alley, and even a soda shop where the kids could get a root beer float after school. Now, imagine being a kid and telling your friends, yeah, I live on Alcatraz, no big deal. Talk about street cred. Your friends would either think you're the coolest kid on the block or they'd run away screaming. Either way, it's a win-win. But life wasn't all fun and games on the island. The kids had their school right there, with the classrooms overlooking the cell blocks. Talk about a constant reminder to do your homework. And despite being surrounded by water, there was no swimming allowed due to the dangerous currents. So, no beach days for these islanders. Bummer. Alcatraz was touted as the prison that no one could escape from. Well, turns out some people didn't get the memo. Now, we all know that Alcatraz was as tough as a $2 steak, but it seems like some folks were tougher, or craftier, or just downright desperate. Who knows? What we do know is that in June of 1962, 3 very daring inmates decided to challenge the escape-proof reputation of Alcatraz. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence, were the daring trio who decided to pull a Houdini. Their escape plan was something straight out of a Hollywood thriller, involving dummy heads, raincoats, and some serious dedication to arts and crafts. These guys spent months chiseling away at the prison walls with spoons. Yes, you heard it right, spoons. They even had the audacity to cover up their work with cardboard and paint. Talk about creative problem solving. Once they finally managed to wiggle their way through the walls, they crawled through a network of utility corridors and climbed up to the roof. From there, it was a quick shimmy down a kitchen vent pipe, a sprint across the prison yard, and a dive into the frigid San Francisco Bay. Now, here's the punchline. These guys must have missed a no escape memo. Either that, or they were just really good at hide and seek. Because, you see, they were never found. Vanished. Poof. Like a magician's rabbit. The official story is that they drowned. But who knows? Maybe they're sipping margaritas in Mexico, laughing about how they pulled a fast one on Uncle Sam. So, there you have it. Life in Alcatraz. Hot showers, no pet birds, a unique neighborhood, and the occasional escape artist. Sounds like a real hoot, doesn't it?